We are having a homeowners insurance crisis in the United States and in Washington state. Hey, welcome back to the Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm glad you're here today because we are talking about a very important, deep topic that has impacted millions of people in the United States particularly, and that is homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance has been a problem for so many people, especially in states like Florida and California, and we'll get into those in a second. Obviously, we're here in Clark County, Washington, Vancouver, Camas, Ridgefield area, and so we're not having quite the same impact, but I want to talk about it today. By the way, if you're new to the channel, we're really grateful you're here. Thanks so much for watching. You can sign up for our Weekend Happenings with Hannah events email down below, and also our contact information is down below. If we can help you professionally sell or buy a home in Clark County, we'd love to serve you. All right, let's get to talking about what you came here to see, which is homeowners insurance. So the first thing I wanted to touch on was just the refusal of coverage that is happening in so many different states. Thankfully in Washington state, I have not seen this widespread, and I really don't expect to, but also who expects to just not be covered in homeowners insurance as a blanket state? No one really expects that. I think the two biggest states that come to mind are Florida and California. And that's actually where a lot of our buyer clients come from, so I've kind of gotten to live through their experiences. I have a quote here from a news article I'm gonna read to you, just illustrating the magnitude of this problem. Quote, in California, where at least 8 carriers have left the state or limited their exposure, that state's insurer of last resort, the California FAIR Plan, I believe that's the statewide plan, has seen a 14% jump in policyholders this year alone and a 137% increase since 2019. So that's not good. I think we probably have something similar to that in Washington, a state insurer, but it's not really talked about a lot because you can still get homeowners insurance here. According to Insurify, Florida homeowners pay 5 times the national average for homeowners insurance. I was at a business conference a couple weeks ago speaking with some of my friends from Florida, and when they told me the premiums they paid on their homes and they told me, you know, what those homes were worth and the square footage, I was literally like blown away. It wasn't 5 times as much, but it was probably about 3 times as much, which is a ton of money, by the way. That's literally, I mean, that's 3 times as much. That's a ton of money. The number one state where we have buyer clients who are relocating from is California for us. California is the number one state where our relocating clients come from. And I've heard so many stories from our California clients about not being able to obtain earthquake insurance. There's absolutely no option for it. Not being able to obtain fire insurance, no option for it. And just having really expensive general homeowners insurance. When they come up here and they get a quote for the new home that they're buying with us, it is substantially less than they were used to in California. So thankfully we have all of those options here, and I'll talk about that in a minute. A little bit about some of the political action that's happening in those areas to try and combat this. In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis last year signed a tort reform bill aimed at curbing policyholder lawsuits and luring insurers back into the state. So that's good. He signed some sort of bill that was trying to get policyholders to come back in and say, hey, we're going to insure people again. I think that's essential. Florida just got hit by a couple hurricanes here this fall, and that was devastating. And so that is one of the things contributing. Thankfully, in Washington state, we do not have hurricanes. Very glad about that. In Florida, Governor Gavin Newsom has proposed making it easier for insurers to get approval for rate increases while also backing a proposal to require them to write more policies in distressed areas. So that's an interesting one. I think California is having some issues because the state has put caps on how much insurance can be increased, but they're having so many natural disasters there that insurance companies are literally saying, we're running out of money, there's too many claims, in which case we can't insure anyone and we just have to pull out. Overall, that's just a bad scenario, right? We don't want people paying more homeowners insurance fees. We don't want natural disasters happening. It's bad when people have to make claims, but if the insurance companies can at least raise rates to stay in business in California, that's probably better than them leaving overall. So that's really interesting. Premiums in Washington, what am I seeing here in Clark County? Well, I'm definitely seeing an increase in premiums. The best example I have would be for my own personal home. This last year, we obviously renewed the policy. And last year, our policy was $1,200 a year, approximately, so that's $100 a month. And this year it was $2,000. So it almost doubled in 1 year. I made no claims. I didn't have anything crazy happen in my life. And so I asked my insurance broker, I said, why did this go up so much even though you shopped around for me? And she said, well, this is kind of just what we're seeing across the board, regardless of what kind of home you own or if you've made claims or not. And that's a bummer. If you are on a tight budget and all of a sudden your homeowner's insurance doubles and now your $100 a month is $200 a month, that's kind of crazy. And just for some perspective there, I own kind of a median home. It's about 2,200 square feet, it's 4 bedrooms. It was built in the 90s. It's a very average type home here in Clark County. On a positive note, I want to let you know that you can still get insurance here in Clark County. You can, of course, still get general homeowners insurance. That is absolutely not a problem. Don't lose sleep at night if you're from California or Florida thinking you won't be able to get insurance. That is not the case. You will be able to get insurance. As for other types of insurance that you might get on your home, earthquake insurance. You can absolutely get earthquake insurance, and I really encourage everyone to do it. It is cheap here in Washington. I don't know how it's cheap. We are at risk of earthquakes. We don't live like on a direct fault line where the earth is going to split in two and my house is going to fall in a hole like some folks do in California, but we live on the ring of fire where we could very well have an earthquake. I paid about $250 for the whole year for my earthquake policy, and I think that covers, my policy was I'd have to pay 7.5% out of pocket to have my home rebuilt, and they pay the other amount. I'm sorry, I'm not doing the math right now. What is that, like 93%, 92.5%, something like that. $250 a year to have, $500, $600, $700, $800,000 of house covered. Yes, I'm gonna pay $250 a year for that. Fire insurance is rare here in Clark County, Washington, but if you do need it or you want it, you can get it. If you live in the city, if you live in the city of Camas, the city of Vancouver, the city of Ridgefield, the chances of you ever needing fire insurance are gonna be super low. If you live out in the rural areas, if you live in rural battleground, 𝐂𝐿𝐒, especially if you live down more in the Gorge, 𝐍𝐞𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐄𝐎 area, you might want to consider it. Even then, we have much lower risk of fires here than in places like California. Flood insurance is another one I get questions about, especially from those folks in Florida where things flood a lot. You can get flood insurance here. I will tell you, it is rare for us to go look at homes or for me to list a home that's in a flood zone. You should refer to the FEMA flood zone map for the most factual information. Please do not rely on those Redfin and Realtor.com flood ratings. I put zero validity in those. Just go straight to the data source. Go straight to FEMA. I just had a client purchase a home in a flood zone. I only do probably one every couple years, and it was a house priced in the 500s. It was a nice kind of median average type house, and she had to pay about $1,200 for the year, so about an additional $100 a month. It's definitely not a small chunk of change to bite off, so you want to think twice about getting a home in a flood zone. I do have an amazing insurance broker here locally in Vancouver who does all of my personal business insurances, and she does insurance for a lot of my clients. So if you want her contact information, feel free to reach out. She'd love to talk to you. And I guess I'll just leave us on the note of we hope that insurance continues to be available in Washington State, and it looks like it's going to with the way things are trending. But be sure to shop around and be educated on the situation. Let me know your thoughts down below on what you think about the insurance crisis in the United States of America. Thank you so much for watching. If you need help professionally selling or buying a home in Clark County, myself and my team at Dubyne Realty Group, we'd love to serve you. Reach out to us. Our contact information will be down below, and we can't wait to see you again soon. Bye.